Okay, so now we'll go to the next model, which is a prototype model. So now, as I took Pratibha's question in the starting itself because that is much related to the prototype model. Okay, so designing is like architectural design mainly goes on in your designing phase, but in prototype model what they will do is they will create a mock of your application, okay, of the requirement, how the requirement will be appearing after development. So that will be like designed in the prototype model. What they will do is they will actually what they'll do, they'll mock the system with the requirement from the customer. They will mock the system, they will draw a design using Adobe Photoshop or Paint or anything. It'll be a wireframe kind of thing. Wireframe means it's a design, okay. So what they will do is they will do it and they will give it to the end user or the client, and what they will do is they'll get the feedback from them. So based on the feedback, if anything is missing or anything is like more required or needs to be changed, they can actually what to say, clear it in the initial phase itself, and then it will go for the designing, sorry, for the other phases. Okay, so that is the completely on the prototype model. Prototype is nothing but a mock system. Mock is called as prototype. Okay, so what will happen is model created by developer where text is converted into image. So your requirement now it will be in a form of a text, right? In your requirement document, software requirement specification document you'll be having. So what these people will do, a set of developers, they will sit and change that text into an image using a Photoshop or Paint. Nowadays we have lots and lots of applications and open sources. Okay, so with that they will create mock the system and they will give it to the customers. A working prototype. Working prototype means a basic functionality only, not a very high level deep functionality, very high level functionalities. It will be like login ID and password and click on login, it will log into the system. So the mock will be in that way. A working prototype should be built and evaluated before development, and not a complete system but providing a system with all functionalities will be covered. Okay, so now based on the prototype developed, the client will give the feedback, and based on the feedback again we'll update the prototype and share with them, and again they'll give a updated feedback. So this is completely a iterative model. That's why this is also a iterative model. And trial and error method is in the sense like it goes back and forth to the clients for the review, right? So that is called as trial and error method. Okay, understood what a prototype model is? Any question in that? Okay, so this is how it will work. Okay, so the requirement gathering will start and then the prototype designing. So this is this is complete the prototype designing phase. Okay, so the prototype will be designed over here, then they will build the prototype, then it will go for the customer evaluation, feedback, and then again based on it it will go. This will be, this phase alone will be a iterative phase, not the other phases. Only this prototype designing phase will be your iterative phase here. So once here everything gets confirmed, it the next phase of the SDLC will start, the designing phase. Here is where the architectural design will start. Okay, so after that coding, testing, deployment, and maintenance. Other things will be a normal waterfall model kind of thing, but here alone the prototype designing is a small extra phase over here in the prototype model. Understood about this? Any questions?
One second.
Sorry,
Can you say once again?
sorry, I didn't get you.
One second. Once again. Explain me once again.
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
So,
Oh yeah, please.
can you explain me once more? Okay.
Okay. So usually in waterfall model, what will happen? They'll gather the requirement, they'll go to the designing phase, the coding, testing, deployment, and maintenance. Okay. So, but here what they will do is, see, imagine you have a customer, okay? Oh, sorry. So this is the company, and A is the company and B is the client. Okay. What will happen here is, so in A, they will get the requirements initially from B. Okay. And then what they'll do is they will imagine that is they want a web application for a school registration. Okay. So now what they will do is they will not start their architectural design. Instead, what they will do is, so login, password, click on this. So this will be a page design. So after clicking on this, you will go to a student registration form. This is how it will appear. So this model, this prototype will be submitted to the client. Okay. Now this guy, what he will do is he will work on this and he will review it. Once he reviews it, he will say, no, here ID password, I don't want user ID password. Instead, I want what is a role or in registration ID of the admin or a registration ID of the principal, and using that only they need to log in. So please change this. They will ask them to ask us to change. Then again in this page, I don't want age. I want only date of birth to be registered over here. So they'll ask the chain, and they will give the feedback to the what to say, to A, that is our project. Now again we'll modify this prototype into a new one based on their input, and again we'll send them back to the client, and based on that again they will give their feedback. If there are feedbacks, then we'll change again accordingly, and this will go as an iteration. If the feedback, there are no feedback and they says yes, everything is good, you can proceed, what we will do is we'll start the designing phase of our SDLC. Okay. And then after the designing phase, obviously the coding will start, then the testing, then the deployment and maintenance. Is it clear now?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
this prototype is in exist, ma'am, or it's not?
No, these are all everything, right? These you need to know about these for your interviews. Other than that, these models are very rarely in use, because I have worked around 4 concerns, and initially I was with the concern for 7 years. At the time, they were using a kind of what to say, waterfall and agile, not completely waterfall. Then all the projects which I worked were into agile methodology only. I didn't go into spiral or waterfall or prototype or anything. So these are all not recommended, because like see there are these have lots of disadvantages. Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, the prototype comes under design phase or it's a initial requirement from
Uh,
customer?
no, designing phase is different from prototype designing. Okay. Prototype designing is completely mocking the system only based on the requirements that are gathered. After this is approved only, we'll go to the designing phase.
Okay. Then it's a initial requirement from
Yes,
customer.
yes. I heard
Ma'am?
someone. Yeah, yeah.
How an interview can ask regarding prototype model, ma'am?
Prototype
How can
model for these type and all, it'll be a direct question only. Okay, they'll ask you to can you explain a prototype model, or they'll say can you explain few SDLC methodologies. They might be particular saying explain few SDLC other than waterfall, because waterfall is a very basic and very like rarely used. Prototype is also that way, but people are not much, they don't gather much knowledge on the prototype models and all. So they might ask prototype, they might ask spiral designing, sorry, spiral model, and they might ask you V model is a very commonly asked question. That too, can you as in last class I said you, right, differentiate between verification and validation would be your important interview question. Okay. Even for the
ma'am?
experienced people, they ask verification and validation. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. Again asking.
No,
Prototype
Arjun.
in prototype designing, how can they means they will do how prototype designing and they design differ, ma'am?
Yeah, that's what I said. Now, prototype designing is, now if you see, so we have this as a requirement. Imagine this is this is going to be the application that I am going to build in my project. Okay. So
Okay.
before giving this to the designing, architectural designers, I'll show you some. So this is how the architectural designing will be. Okay. So now if you see here, it will be like what interaction is done with whom. Say client, broker, and client server. What kind of client server we are going to use. So these type of architecture, designing the architecture which is going to be implemented in your project will be handled in your architectural design. Okay. Now I'll
That
show
means
you.
design part.
Yes, yes, exactly. A prototype model example. I didn't get actually anything. I have searched it. The thing is like, see, just mocking the system. Okay, now if you see, this is going to be the application. Now you got a requirement saying I want an application for Amazon, and you should be able to change your language, and you should be you're having a search over here, and these kind of menus should be available. So this will be a very basic thing, right? So now what
Yes.
will happen is they will mock the system. It'll, you can't go and place an order and test it and all. Other than that, how it will be is you'll be having the view of the application, how it will appear after development. Now if the user feels, no, I want this search button to be here, not here, so that would be the customer feedback. Okay, then they will provide it. So this is
Okay.
called, this is difference between your prototype designing and the designing phase of your SDLC.
In design, each and every part is clearly explained. What will happen? What next?
Okay,
Is
here
is it so?
here you're asking.
Is no, in design part they will explain very clearly
No, 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 no.
from.
It will not be very clear. That's what I said. It is technical designing. Okay. It will be in this way. The developers can understand how the interaction between one interface and other interface means we have lots of interface, right? Like the TCP IP interface we have. Then we have the database interface. We have the GUI, graphical user interface and all, right? So how the communication between the those interfaces will be going, that will be into your architectural design, nothing
Okay.
related to your web designing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, is it clear, Pratibha, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So any other questions over here? Okay, fine. So any question you can just stop me and ask. Okay. So going to the next, so we have advantages and disadvantages. So advantages is errors can be detected earlier, right? So here itself, I will go on in interaction with the client and I'll get their feedback. So we can avoid errors, right? Errors, you know, right? What are errors? Anybody can answer what is an error? It's not a defect, error. So what is an error? These are your interview questions. Okay. So what is an error? Defect?
Error which is,
Yeah.
sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
No, no, answer. No issues.
What are you're saying? What is an error, no, ma'am?
Yeah, I explained you what is a error,
Mistakes
fault.
made in the code.
Yes,
Mistakes made in
exactly.
the code is called error.
Yeah. So here itself in this prototype designing itself, they will get clarified everything, right? So they can more concentrate on their coding. In their coding, they will not be missing out anything, any features. So obviously the errors can be detected earlier, quick user feedback, then missing functionalities can be identified. As we have quick user feedback, they will only tell out, see, you have missed out these features and all, right? So at that time, we can fix it over there, and better understanding of the project and early trainings to the user. Every yeah.
And this will be done before development of a program, right?
Yes, before designing phase itself, this will happen.
Means before
After.
coding, no, ma'am. Before
Yeah,
the developer.
yes.
Yes.
So what will happen is, in every projects, how it will work is, after designing, after coding, and after testing, before giving the application to the user, we will have a group of users, okay, or real-time users will have, and we'll give a demo to them on how to use the application. Okay, where you should click to go to this page, what you should do on this page, how to register. We'll give a demo to them from the project team to the product team. Okay, so here in this will happen only before the maintenance phase. Okay, after deployment, before the maintenance, they will always give a demo. But here in this, you already you had a contact with the what to say customers related the prototype design, right? So here much training is not required, because earlier itself, in earlier stage itself, we communicated on them how the design will be. So this is also a advantage. Okay, so the disadvantages, coming to the disadvantages, this is obviously time consuming, because we'll spend lots of time over here itself, right? And then not cost effective, as prototype is left unused. So here we have mocked the system, we have done it, we have gone through 4 or 5 iterations, and then later we got the feedback, it is fine, and we went to the other phases. But here the mocked designs, right, those will be left unused. It is, there will be some what to say amount or cost spent on that designing, but that will not be used anywhere in your software life cycle again. Okay, so that's what not cost effective, as prototype is left unused. The client may lose interest in the final product when he or she is not happy with the initial prototype. There are some clients, okay, not every, but some clients, they'll not be happy in whatever we do. So those type of clients, what they will say, if you give one design which doesn't satisfy them, for the first time they might say, okay, you show me the second one, and second also misses out something, there are chances these people might cancel the project itself for our company. So that is also a disadvantage. So the next one is, it is very difficult for software developers to accommodate all the changes demanded by the client. So we have clients like that, and sometimes we have clients who, first you give a prototype, they might give, or they'll get a vision of how the application is, and they might get ideas even more on, like, I want this here, I want that here, and maybe it will go for around 10 iterations again. So that is also a frustration for developers here itself, right? Because again they need to do the coding, and they need to deploy it to the customer. So that is also one of the disadvantages. Okay, so any doubts in prototype? So in all
Ma'am,
is, yeah.
in prototype model, we can give example like that construction field, they will give demo to their customers, no, ma'am.
Yeah, you
They
can do that, because in construction, suppose imagine they'll draw, right? They'll have a drawing, and they will show it us, right? Like, this is how the house will be, here is where the kitchen would be. So everything,
Like
and we,
blueprint, ma'am.
yeah, and we might request the change, right? No, I want the kitchen to be here, I want the master bedroom to be here. So yeah, you can actually relate it. Yeah, that's a good example.
yes, ma'am. And this prototype design, we can assume like they're giving PPT, and the design is that map.
No,
Can we
not
do that?
PPT. They if you see, we have, I don't know, like, I'll not be able to access my project over here, because sometimes we'll have, now we have something called Figma, a tool called Figma. Okay, it is completely for prototyping. So in this, if you, sorry, so in Figma, if you see, it is an interactive thing. No, I'll not be able to access it from here. So it'll be like this only. Okay, you'll have the design itself. Now if you click out or click on maybe like what is this, on purchase, you'll actually get the model, what to say, a prototype of a purchase module, how it will appear. Okay, so this
Okay.
is if you want you can just go, but I don't know, like so developers will only design it over here. So you can see here, right? So it'll be like a mock-up. Okay. Sorry. So if you see, you can actually uh, create elements over here and they will actually map it. Okay, from first, imagine this is the first screen. If I click on login button, it should come to this screen. If I click on forget password, it should go to this screen. They will actually mock it over here. Okay, and then by clicking on the buttons, it will take you to that what to say, that mock-up. So Figma is only widely used now. So Figma is also a paid one. Only with the paid one we can do multiple things. Okay. Initially they were using Adobe Photoshop, and they were using. We had one more. I don't remember. We used to create. So those things and all we were having MS Paint and other things also. But now my recent 2 or 3 projects they used only Figma. You can say if in interviews this will not be a question. If they ask, do you have any idea on what tools they will use for prototyping, you can say Figma. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And you will also get a question like, can you explain the disadvantages of uh, prototyping model or spiral model or waterfall model? So these kind of questions only you'll be having in your interviews. So any questions in these? We have one more important model in what to say, SDLC. I'll be taking that now. So if you have any doubts in any of the SDLC types, you can just ask me now. No? Can we start with the next? Okay. Okay, I have only 7 minutes for this session to end. If it is around 1 minute, please anyone let me know. Okay, I'll create a new link and send you, because else when I'm talking, it will get disconnected. Okay. Okay. So now this is a very important methodology used in most of the software fields now. Okay, that is called as Agile. Anybody have any idea on what the Agile means? The term Agile means. Agile is an English word. Okay. So what does Agile mean? Any idea? To be very fast. Okay. To be very quick, to be very responsive. That is called as Agile. Okay. So now you saw there were lots of disadvantages in all the SDLC methodologies, right? And most of the disadvantages were like what it can't handle when we get frequent requirement changes, or time consuming, or you can say like cost. It is not cost effective. Okay, to overcome all the disadvantages of mainly the requirement changes, we went into Agile methodology. Okay, so please like what to say, like be attentive, be clear on the terminologies of Agile, because Agile is the mainly used in, I think, most 80 to 90% of the software fields are using Agile. Okay, only small concerns use the other methodologies. Okay, so now what are the principles of Agile? So mainly the principles of Agile are like, one is customer satisfaction. Okay, so in Agile how it will work is, So first I'll get requirement, a piece of requirement. I will work on that and then I will deliver it actually. Okay, I'll give that piece of work as an application to the customer. And one more is in Agile, all the developers, testers, everyone will be sitting together and working, not in the other things. Okay, in other things, the designing people will be put as a separate team in some other place. And one more is like the development people will be sitting in some other place and testing people will be in some other place. But in Agile, everyone are part of a team and they'll be sitting together, and these three teams will be completely called as a development team. The architectural designing team, the development team, and the testing team, developers and testing team, they will be completely called as a development team. Okay, so as I said, so as we like give the application in small bits and pieces, what is happening is the customer will be obviously getting satisfied. What he will think is like, okay, I'm getting something, some output from the project team. I'm able to see their progress. So that is called as customer satisfaction. One more is welcome changes. So as I said, this agile methodology will help users in providing them to give changes in whenever they want. So okay, now there is a requirement, we are working on that, and we give it to them and they work on it and they say, no, this is not I want some changes in this, can you please do it? And obviously we will again do it, we'll work on it. Okay, so that is also an important feature. Next is these two I will explain later. So working together, yes, as I said, all the architectural design, developer team and testing team and the product owner will not be working with us, but they are, everyone will be completely called as a development team. Okay, one more is as we are put together, we'll have lots of meetings in Agile. Okay, there'll be lots and lots of meetings. So we can actually discuss on what we are working, discuss on what problems we are having, and everything will be happening on a daily basis. So we have a face-to-face conversation with, see, the testing team can actually communicate their problems and their issues with the development team. Developers can actually, if they have any problem with the architectural design, they can communicate to that team as we are all working together. Okay, and frequent releases, I said here, right? So bits and pieces will be actually giving a small release, and all together put together we can have a frequent delivery also. So these are the basic principles of Agile. Okay, got it?
Yeah, well,
Okay. So now we will now how this Agile works. So best example is if you take a restaurant. Okay, now you go to a restaurant, now you are the client or customer over there. You go, you pick a table, you sit there, and then you place an order. Okay, and what will happen, one person, he will come and collect your order, he'll get your order from you, and then he will go to the uh, cooking department or kitchen, and he will give the order. Okay, in that, imagine you say, I want a non-veg platter or a non-veg thali for me. So in that it has some chicken fry and it has a fish fry and it has a soup and it has a chapati and a rice. Okay, so here we have someone to make the chicken fry, some other person to make the fish curry, and someone to make the chapati, and someone to make the soup, and someone else to make the rice. Okay, it's not that single person is going to do everything in a very big restaurant, right? So now this guy who takes the order from us and gives to the chef, that chef, what he will do is he will actually, he will check with the people, is it available, can this be done, how much time will it be taking, and based on that, he will communicate it to the person who took a order from us. And that guy, he might come and tell to us, ma'am, this is not available, or this might take 15 minutes of time, this might take 20 minutes of time. And then later, when all the foods are done, a single product, what is a single product here, a non-veg platter, right? That single product will be given to the delivery person.
ma'am,
Yeah,
we have 1 minute.
okay, I'll share you. Okay, I'll share you one link immediately.